All right, so Landfall. In the last league we played towards the wrap up, I talked about potentially wanting Graveyard Hate, potentially a touch more, but honestly, the Dredge Vine deck's kind of like come and gone, Bridgevine deck, and there really hasn't been a lot of it online anymore. So I've kind of kept things about the same as last time, in the face of Bridgevine kind of falling off the map. I think it's worth keeping a Bolt on top there. Bolt's good against the majority of the format, and even the portions it's not good against, it still just like sends 3 upstairs. So eventually I'll donate to see Bant Devoted Company at the slight changes I've made. If only I could put Stoneforge in the deck. What's going on, Yenny? A Zintoth. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts and they're standing in a row. Thank you for the 14 months there, and welcome back. Unfortunately, that's not how TCGs work in my experience. In my experience, price memory is a real thing that's super rude. All right, Flooded Strand, Basic Island, Serum Visions. Could be a combo deck still. Could be some kind of control deck. Either way, the Bolt's probably a little mediocre. Yeah, they weren't supposed to be back up for another hour and a half, which would have put me too close to when Jake gets home from school, but they came back up a little bit ago, so I think we're doing okay. Moto did just wake back up from its long dirt nap. Is sending this Bolt upstairs too aggressive? Yeah, probably gonna have a lot of other opportunities to send Bolt upstairs this game. Yeah, one of the things online does that's a little bit different than paper is because the card market is so fluid online. Lutzbo, thank you for the brand new Twitch Prime support there. I appreciate it. Because the market is so fluid online, it's so easy to like turn decks into other decks that the flavor of the month style deck, so to speak, is generally a lot more popular on Magic Online than it ever is in paper. Why is Kessig in the sideboard and not the main? Did I do that today? Did I grab an old list? I don't know. It's pretty marginal. They hedge different things. Kessig's better against the go wide decks. Ghost Quarter's better against the fair decks and the aggressive decks, or the fair decks and the big mana decks. If graveyard decks have died down, would you cut a surgical from Jeskai thing? No, I think that deck's really good at. I think that deck's really good at. I think that deck's really good at finding its sideboard cards, and I think Surgical's very powerful inside of it. I just want to board up to 26 lands in this matchup. Probably want the Pridemages too. This is a Path to Exile out matchup. Probably just trim some of the bolts too. Just go like max threats. I think that looks pretty clean. Death Cloud. Yeah, it's annoying that they don't let you stack Prime along with $5 to get to tier 2. I conceded because I had a Lightning Bolt and 2 lands in hand, and my opponent was at 20 or 19 or whatever. I don't think Bojuka Bog is worthwhile. I think the graveyard decks in Modern are a little bit too volatile for Bojuka Bog to have a meaningful impact in the time frame that it could have a meaningful impact. We played a Treetop for a little while early, but honestly, I think it's just worse than playing Horizon Canopy if you want more utility lands. No, you just want as many of your threats as possible, Mark. And post-board, they'll probably have, like, at least some number of Supreme Verdict, which will actually put my things in the bin. And sometimes they trade with Snapcaster Mage. And I'm like, Renegade Rallier is a card you basically just never cut in this deck because it enables some of your nut draws. Like, Renegade Rallier is a card that lets you, like, put 4 land drops into play on turn 3, basically, and just, like, end the game. So, against straight blue-white control, you want to be pretty conservative as far as fetching basics goes, because the more basics you keep in your deck, the worse their path to exiles are, essentially. So I'm going to be pretty liberal with my health total as far as fetch shocking goes. You just don't want to play a bunch of individually weak cards like Rancor. I think Rancor is a pretty bad approach to a deck like this. I'd rather just like have more individually powerful threats, just like put them under the Abyss faster. And like Kessig is searchable and it doesn't take a spell slot. I don't understand what the appeal of that would be, Psycho Smurf. Like, what problem do we have that you're solving by making that change, would be my question. Like, this iteration of this archetype, like, already has turn 3 kills, so I'm not sure, like, why you need to add an individually weak card like Retreat to Coral Helm in order to, like, try and leverage something along there. Like, Retreat to Coral Helm's, like, a pretty bad magic card in most situations. Like, again, Modern's a format that's, like, not super kind to synergy decks. Things are either faster than you, or they're just more brutal than you, and there's a lot of ways they just punish decks that are playing individually weak cards. I'm not attacking with the Grim Lavamancer because I can afford to delve these Wooded Foothills out of my bin. I'm going to go ahead and stop on my opponent's upkeeping, crack this fetch land. Okay, so the reason why you always want to wait to crack your fetch if they might have removal for your Tireless Tracker, and the reason this is because if I had cracked my fetch land proactively, my opponent would have pathed in response, which would have caused me to gain one less clue. By waiting for my opponent to make the move, I'm able to crack my fetch land in response to their Path to Exile, netting me an extra card draw. If my opponent hadn't pathed my thing at end of turn, I would have cracked my fetch land during their upkeep, and the reason why I would want to sequence in that manner is because that way my opponent doesn't have the opportunity to snap path my Tireless Tracker before my fetch land goes off. Mystic Snake, thank you for the brand new Prime subscription. I appreciate that. Yeah, only 2 decks today. Normally I start at 9 o'clock, but Moto had downtime for the first 2/3 of my stream, or half my stream or so. Put this into play. I'm going to hold back Plated Geopede as a post-sweeper threat. I don't think either of those matchups are necessarily that bad, but I think I have board slots to dedicate to a wide variety of decks, and that card does a wide variety of things, in my opinion. So I think it's worth... I think that card is worth its slot, which is why I have 4 of them. I'm not sure if I really answered your question correctly. I'm not sure I really understand your question necessarily. Like, a matchup doesn't have to be terrible in order for you to put cards in your sideboard for it, right? Like, those decks are just doing objectively powerful things. So, like, having a way to interact with their objectively powerful thing is, like, not unreasonable. Hey, look, there's the Supreme Verdict I was talking about. While a lot of these decks are Terminus decks these days, a lot of them do still have a non-zero number of verdicts in the 75. Grab a Sacred Foundry here. I'm just going to go ahead and put 3 creatures into play right away again. We're going to Renegade Rallier, bring back a Wild Nacatl, and then we're going to get Plated Geopede going as well. This gives us 7 power while they're at 11. A fetch land is theoretically lethal if they have nothing. They have 5 cards in their hand, so like the chance of them having nothing is like pretty low, but we are putting the onus onto them to, you know, be able to impact the board again this turn. Why didn't we attack with only 1 creature? Why should I attack with only 1 creature? Be constructive, be specific. It was the exact same amount of damage whether I attacked with 1 creature or both creatures. So if my opponent has another piece of spot removal or something like a Blessed Alliance, attacking with both creatures is basically a strict upside. They could settle us here, but we're really not in a position to be able to play around something like that. Sure, you have a Vendiclick. Would like to Lightning Bolt your Vendiclick. No, I just wanted to, like, add another creature to the table to, like, have more pressure in play. Gaining the Exalted didn't add any points of damage to my attack, so there's really... I'm really kind of incentivized to, like, spread my damage out over multiple bodies. Ooh, that's brutal. This is the first match. I don't think this match is particularly good for this archetype. We, like, all their good, honest interaction sweepers are just very good against us. Mardu Panza. Sounds good, Yeheni. Will do. Alright. I think at this point I'm going to ship all in. They missed their 6th land drop, which means if they have Snapcaster Mage, they need to rip a land in order to snap Verdict us. I guess they can snap Timely here, but I'm not sure we're in a position to beat Snap Timely regardless. $20 months in a row, Indicium. It's a long time. Thanks for putting up with me. So, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. If I don't attack with everything, I get blown up by Snapcaster. If I do attack with everything, I get punished by Settle the Wreckage. So, I think it's right to play into the Settle in a position like this because they likely have more Snapcaster Mages in their deck than Settle the Wreckage is. Cryptic's kind of brutal. I can see Jet. God bless. God bless. Alright. Let's mosey right along here. Add Todd Stevens, Bant, Trade Binder. I look forward to O3ing with that deck. Should be a good time. We're gonna have some giveaways for Friday's stream. I haven't done that on stream before. Should be fun. I've got some gift certificates from Cool Stuff Inc. And of course my complimentary timeout. Of course, Yanni. It's pretty good. I mean, it's like rarely exciting to get dumpstered by blue-white control, right? Like, if you register a deck with like more than 10 creatures in it, you should probably just like accept you're gonna get dumpstered by blue-white control. You're never gonna be excited about it, but it's just like, you know, part of the fact. Not a raffle. There's no entry, no purchase required because that's gambling. We have giveaways though, free stuff. I have some Cool Stuff Inc. gift cards. We have some stuff from Inked Gaming to give away. I have a new sponsor starting on Friday, I believe. And we're going to have some of their stuff to give away as well. I got you, Vid. With Boros Charm, replace Helix in the sideboard for double strike and avoid removal. So, Wilson Vita, the way you want to make edits to a sideboard or build a deck more specifically is you want to figure out what you want your slots to do. So, in the way this deck is constructed, building cutting Lightning Helix and adding a card like Boros Charm doesn't make sense because those cards do functionally different things in this deck. So this Lightning Helix is a card that you bring in against aggressive decks and decks where you want more removal. Whereas a card like Boros Charm is a card you would bring in against explicitly control decks. I think Boros Charm is exceptionally poorly positioned right now because the advent of all of the control decks moving from Supreme Verdict to Terminus. I think if they were still playing Supreme Verdict as their primary sweeper, that would be a card that I would be interested in exploring potentially to make the matchup better. But I think if you wanted to try and make the blue-white control matchup potential a little bit better, while still like keeping some of your sideboard slots intact, I think what's the word I'm searching for? I think some copies of Godak Teague could be reasonable, like shaving some number of like Damping Spear even for some Godak Teagues, because like they're both cards that are like reasonable against like Godak Teagues and Thalias, like board into a little bit more of a hate bear style strategy to annoy the control deck. Alright, so it's a little awkward that we don't have white mana, or we don't have a white fetch. So I get to fetch Shock, and then I can play Renegade Rallier here, and like fetch Shock again. So I get to like kill Hollowed One and Flameblade Adept. I get to like Abyss them here. I'm not even abyssing them yet, right? Yeah, because it's only going to be 14. Alright, how about if I do this? I'm going to attack them with both here. And if they don't block, I'll path my Renegade Rallier and kill them. Feeling the need to spew nonsense. Give me a timeout. JMM, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Welcome to everybody. Shorter stream this afternoon since Moto decided he needed a long dirt nap this morning. We do have lethal on board next turn because we have we can ghost quarter ourselves to make these 3/3s. I'm a liar. That's not lethal. Math is hard. That's it's only 9. Let's go ahead and take their Flame Blade out of here before they dump that out of our hand. Am I dead? Double bolt to your last 2 cards? You cast Burning Inquiry, and the 2 cards you kept were double Lightning Bolt. I have to laugh because if I didn't, I'd cry. Alright, this is definitely a Lightning Helix matchup. This is probably not a Tireless Tracker matchup. Honestly, Chandra's probably okay here because she Doomblades, what's it called? She Doomblades Hollowed One. Like trimming Steppe Lynx, maybe. They just do more controlling. Sometimes I do this with this deck. You board into kind of like a bunch of Doomblades and like have some card advantage at the top end. This doesn't seem completely unreasonable. I kind of like this. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Turn into more of a control deck, kind of a mid-range like removal deck. Grudge is like okay. They don't always have the Hollowed One. I'm gonna fetch a Temple Garden on 1. Put Cat into play. Especially on the draw, maybe Grudge is a little bit better. Hey, at least it told you it was disabled instead of just like not working. Motobot usually has extra trouble after a downtime. Yeah, that's completely wrong. We are 0-1 in this league. We lost the first match to blue-white control. We're about to get dumpstered by Hollowed One. Knight's a big gal here. If they, she's gonna come down as a 5/5. This Path to Exile. Blood Moon's pretty uncommon out of the sideboard of these decks. I think I'd bring in Ancient Grudge before I brought in Qasali Pridemage. So, the problem with a card like Blossoming Defense is that it's not an individually powerful Magic card. The interactive decks in Modern tend to beat up synergy-style decks that are trying to play cards like that. So, threat decks like what we're playing here, in general, you would rather... There's so many high-quality threats you can play in Modern, you would rather just play another high-quality threat rather than playing a card that's going to be a dead draw when you don't already have a high-quality threat in play. Why did they bolt my 5/5? They're like... They're like hoping to Goblin Lore into another bolt? Is this our life? Is this gonna happen? Did they Goblin Lore into another bolt? Wait, what? Alright, well that was an interesting turn. I'm not quite sure why the events that just transpired, but after they hit 2 bolts game 1, I'm just gonna shrug and, just be like, maybe we deserve this. Maybe this is something I deserve. They definitely made legal plays. I prefer friendly leagues over competitive leagues because people try to moto scum you less in friendly leagues, and the reason why people try to moto scum you less is because the people in the friendly leagues are playing Magic to play Magic, not to try and just farm moto points. So the incentive to play competitive leagues is because you want to gamble more, and when you gamble more, there's more incentive for people to like try and time you out and try and ghost and stuff like that. And my goal while streaming, oh, I should have brought a Grudge in on the draw. My goal while streaming isn't to gamble. My goal while streaming is to like enjoy playing Magic and like play sweet decks. And occasionally, some of our sweet decks are bad, so having a lower risk investment because I'm gambling less is less exciting. I'm gonna try to skill check you. So I assume they have a Doomblade of some sort here, but I think we just need to like work through those basically. So Doomblade away. And like this eating the first Doomblade kind of opens the realm up for Scavenging Ooze potentially. I have no idea. Oh, they mulliganed. They only have 5 cards. How low did they go this game? They went to 6, but scryed top. So that's interesting. So it's still my money. If I do well or lose more, if I do well or lose less, I have to put less money into Magic Online. So I'm still technically gambling, regardless of if people have fronted some of it. Like, if you give me $8 and then I get $8 back from the league, I've pocketed the $8 effectively. And again, as someone who's logged thousands of matches on Magic Online at this point, many of which are in competitive and many of which are in friendly since I started doing that streaming full time, there really isn't a meaningful difference between the decks you play against and the caliber of the people you play against. You see silly plays like what we just saw in that last game in the competitive leagues as well. I've spent a lot of time playing Magic Online, and while there's definitely a subset of people that like to be egotistical and like crap on them because they're called friendly leagues or you gamble less, like those people are just trying to make themselves feel better, justifying their gambling addiction effectively. So it might be loose that I'm not using the Chandra to kill the hollowed one, because now if they play a Gurmag Angler or a Tassifish, I don't have a removal spell for it. But like my Knight of the Reliquary is a 4/4, my Scavenging Ooze is going to get kind of large here in the next couple of turns, so I think we can beat a 5/5 at this point. It's a good moment to sing. When did I... That is something. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. So this can't get any basics. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch Shock here so I can go Chandra into Nacatl. I started streaming full time in March or so, but my full-time job before that was a stay-at-home dad, so I was just home with the kids. Sorry, Big Mama Knight. Nala, thank you for the 2-month resubscription there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. There's not that much risk associated with the friendly leagues. Like, the friendly leagues, if you literally lose all 5 of your matches, you lose, I guess $7 is even a real amount of money. Magic Online is not cheap. Yeah, Bantus is strange. I've played a lot of Red-Black Hollowed One, and we've definitely never had a Bantus in our 75. Like, their deck tends to have a bunch of really large creatures in it. So, like, having... God, that's really bad for us. Hollowed One explicitly is really bad for us here, because it means they get to get back a bird, which gets to pressure our Chandra. I mean, Magic Online's not really expensive. It's just, like, it's gambling, right? Like, I'm sure there's someone at WotC, like, freaking out and, like, calling lawyers every time I say that on stream here. But, like, I should have bolted this because I can Chandra this, right? I should have bolted this and then I can down tick here. Yeah, that was loose. You know, you can make actual money just like you can lose actual money on Magic Online. And now I can't crack this clue for my Tireless Tracker, and my Chandra's too lower, so pretty big mistake on my part here. Leyline of the Void. Sure. I do notice your bit, Warlord. Thank you for the support. So my Chandra should be going to 4 here. See if I end up getting punished for my mistake. Lightning Helix. I would love to gain 3. Get 1 more point of damage in for my trouble here. It's not bad. I mean, you could maybe argue that I should hold this because they could have another Bantus, but like, even if they have another Bantus, like my Chandra's still just like hanging out. The bolt doesn't do anything in my discard pile, so it doesn't really matter. So we're done here. It makes our Knight of the Reliquary, Renegade Ralliers, and Grim Lavamancers worse, but I actually boarded out my Rallier, some of my Ralliers in this matchup. Honestly, I think what we're seeing here, like, I think what we're seeing here is my opponent's kind of experienced oversight boarding with their linear aggressive deck. They've got Bantus, they've got Leyline, so like they've just like diluted their proactive game plan, which was really good against this game when we just like got rolled by their proactive game plan, right? And they're like they diluted their deck, and now like our plan was better than theirs. Yeah, there's a number of completely free Magic clients. There's one called Cockatrace, there's one called X-Mage. Magic Online isn't elegant, but the free alternatives are definitely even less elegant than Magic Online. And it's not particularly close to somebody who's played a lot with them. Why do you think WotC keeps duct taping this client together instead of investing money? I mean, they're literally doing that, Ninja Turtle Jr. That's what Magic Arena is. Magic Arena is them rebuilding Magic Online in a new client engine. X-Mage does have a few nice features that I wish Magic Online had, but by and large, their interface is definitely worse than what Moto does. Honestly, if there's one thing I really wish WotC would learn from Blizzard, and it looks like they're not repeating, they're repeating some of their mistakes with Magic Online with Magic Arena, is that the people that are making decisions at Wizards of the Coast as far as their digital concern really don't seem to understand that you need to give people the first bump for free. You need to make playing the first little bit free to like get people engaged. Then like once people are engaged in your game, they're going to be like, "Oh, I like this. I want to spend money on it." As opposed to like keeping the initial barrier to entry pretty high. So the question here becomes, I think I just want a basic Mountain Geopede on 2 here rather than Nacatl. Grim Lavamancer makes playing Cat plus Lava Man pretty appealing. Although I guess with Marsh Flats I get to attack for 8 next turn. So yeah, I guess I'm just gonna play Plated Geopede here. This hand was very good. We had a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and plenty of lands to make the landfall creature be reasonable. Sulfur Falls. Show me your Doomblade. So, wow, no bolt. Okay, interesting. So, I'm going to go ahead and play this Grim Lavamancer because there's a non-zero chance we catch them with their hand in the cookie jar here. So, I'm going to go ahead and attack with both of these. And I'm going to crack this fetch land before damage happens. Oh, they're bolting that. Well, that, sure, deal. Resolves. Am I in a position that I can beat Blood Moon? I think I am, so I'm going to fetch a basic Planesseer. Because if they Blood Moon me, I can path one of my own creatures and get my basic forest and keep playing Magic. Do you think long-term the plan is to move MTGO client to using Unity? I mean, I think long-term we'll eventually have everything on Magic Arena at some point. Or they'll just, like, stop supporting the formats that don't exist on Magic Arena. But, like, how long-term is that? I don't know. Probably 5-10 years at a minimum. Like, look at how slowly their just normal beta has been going. It's been glacial. Deal. Do you have another bolt? If they have another bolt, we might be a little bit behind here. But we are putting them to, like, 5 next... or 6 next turn. At a minimum. Could get like Spell Pierced or Stub Tier, so maybe I should untap, but if we draw a 3-drop next turn, I'm gonna be pretty happy that I pathed here. Just a bolt deal. Scavenging Ooze. Alright. Yeah, and I'm just gonna be aggressive about using my Grim Lavamancer here. Just want to burn them out ASAP. Using the path there is fine, because now if they have a Blood Moon, I can Ghost Quarter myself in response. And so, like, honestly, I always feel like, and this is one of the things that just, like, it's a limitation with Magic. Like, I always hear people talk about, like, why can't I play Magic on my phone? Why can't I play Magic on my tablet? I can't believe people want to play Magic on their phone or want to play Magic on their tablets. Like, board states in Magic get cluttered on my 27-inch monitor. I can't imagine, like, poking at a phone screen with my thumb trying to, like, attack and block on a board that has, like, 10 creatures on it. Like, plus a dozen lands, right? Yeah, this is Ghost Quarter. We frequently Ghost Quarter ourselves in this deck to make land drops to trigger Landfall. How many bits to get a new deck in the stream? Details and how my donation decks work are here. Getting snap bolted. The good news is if this is snap bolt, they have no cards left, so we got that going for us. Yeah, games like games like Hearthstone or like the new Warhammer card game that I've been playing, or like the what's the new one, the Keyforge from Richard Garfield, or Artifact from Valve, like those are games that are being explicitly designed with the goal being this is going to work nice and be elegant on mobile. And that's different from a game like Magic that was designed, you know, a decade ago with not that in mind. It would be nice on tablets. Duels was nice. I mean, Duels was never full Magic. You could never play an actual Magic format on Duels. Decades ago. Decades ago. Nah, I don't think so. I think if they want to stifle board a Grim Lavamancer activation, I'm okay with that. Would Flusterstorm be degenerate in Modern? No, probably not. Honestly, there's a chance it probably wouldn't even be very good. That's unfortunate. Bad. Not good. Magic Arena isn't finished. And it will be full Magic when it's finished. It literally has a beta tag on it. Literally has a beta tag on it. I think Grim Boy's a card we cut here. They're probably a Blood Moon deck, so Pridemage probably isn't terrible. Probably don't want Ghost Quarter. Kessig's probably fine. I have no idea, but some people in chat are saying it's missing things to be full Magic, and if that's the case, they should be aware that, like, it's not done. And there's literally a sticker on the side of the box that says, hey folks, it's not done. I mean, saying there's no reason to play Magic Arena because Magic Online exists is not strictly true. Like, as someone who's played a little bit of both, Arena, even in its current state, is a better video game than Magic Online ever will be. Like, Arena is being built to be a Magic video game. And there is a very fundamental difference between playing Magic, something that lets you play Magic on the computer, and a Magic video game. I just want to play Magic on my Palm Pilot. That's A+. Yeah, this deck's sweet. This deck checks most of the boxes you want to check in Modern. It's got proactive nut draws. It's got some quality interaction for the creature matchups. It's got a little bit of grind if you like to mid-range on occasion. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a great way to phrase it. MTGO is not a game. It is an application. It is a client. If MTGO is a game, then Microsoft Office is also a game. What year was MTGO released? Over 15 years ago. There was a 15-year celebration at one point. Magic's fun and interesting, stimulating games, interactive. Just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. This deck has draws that can beat a Blood Moon. That was not one of them. Try using this link here. Outside of providing you this link, unfortunately, I can't troubleshoot subscribing at all. That's all handled through Twitch's backend. Should have been written in C++, not .NET. It could have been written in Java. It could have been written in Python. It could have been written in any number of cross-platform things. Internet Explorer is my favorite game. Blood Moon's a much more offensive card than Chalice of the Void. Like, look at our deck. Like, Chalice of the Void, you can make a conscious decision during deck building to be reasonable against by varying your casting cost of your card. Blood Moon, the only way you can make a conscious decision to be better against it is to only put basic lands in your deck. I'm currently attempting to get it to run on my Chromebook. It has not been fun. Do you have Ubuntu installed on your Chromebook, Crazy Ship? If you have Ubuntu installed, it should just fire right up with the Docker image. Yeah, you're never too old to learn something new. What computer language I'm most fluent in? Python, because it's easy. I am a lazy millennial, so easy Python is great. This is a hand that can probably beat a Blood Moon. Nope. We're playing 4 wet balls because it's very flexible, and it's good against a variety of decks in Modern. We have a variety of draws that can race Storm effectively. When you add Wet Ball to the mix, it becomes a borderline good matchup. Sacred Foundry here, pump my cats. One of these will fetch a basic plains next turn. Probably play Renegade Rallier. What did I do professionally before Magic? I have a master's degree in mathematics from a state university. And I did some freelance software development stuff for a little while. Done a bunch of freelance writing. I worked as a systems analyst for a major insurance company for a hot minute. Yeah, I mean, Draven, we had a 5-0 with the tempo deck into a 1-3 the next day. That's just how it goes sometimes. Sweet, and because we didn't do anything yet here, we get to hit them for 3, and then we get to fetch basic plains, then Renegade Rallier back this cat that they just killed. Me up. Counted cards at poker tables. Nah, I played a little bit of cash poker during undergrad, but like never got super into it. Poker is very boring if you're playing it correctly. Poker involves an absurd amount of waiting if you're not playing it in a terrible manner. Second tracker, God bless. AD20, happy Wednesday. They have a bolt, like, plus another braid here. Alright, sweet. Well, hit them for 3 again here. And, like, now, like, this is one of the reasons why this deck is sweet in these non-terminus interactive matchups explicitly. Because, like, they've kind of ground through our things, but we still have things in play. And, now we got a bunch of clues. I mean, they're not really bricking and dying. They've cast a bunch of really meaningful spells. They had what, 3 removal spells in the first 3 turns against an aggressive deck? Like, they're kind of doing what they want to do, right? Hopefully we draw another fetch land next turn and go like second tracker, fetch land, Qasali Pridemage, just like have infinite clues. Alright, I'm gonna attack for 3 here, and I think I'm just gonna go Pridemage plus Geopede. It does play into Spell Snare, but I think that's fine. I'm going to lead on this because I'd rather this get Spell Snared. I did miss a damage. Thank you for pointing that out. 10 out of 10 missed my Exalted Trigger. I don't have Elisa's for overseas, unfortunately. It is only North America. Yeah, 10 out of 10 should have played the Pridemage pre-combat. Not close. This is also weaker to Anger. I mean, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. Like, Anger is going to get our stuff at some point anyways. We are currently 1-1 in this league. I'm going to enter combat first here because if they have Cryptic Command, I don't want them to counter my tracker and tap my team. I chose to hold this fetch land, which might punish us here. Guess if they have any kind of removal, we get in a little bit of trouble. But, like, I wanted them to tap low here so I could go Tracker, play Fetch post-combat. Grind a little bit better. No, we're talking about Lisa, not Honey Teferi. Honey is international. So, like, yeah, so they'd potentially be going to, like, 2 here as opposed to going to 3. So, the sequencing's a little bit awkward with the Plated Geopede, but I think I'd rather maximize clues than a couple of points of damage. Well, maybe that's incorrect because they're at 3. So, I'm going to hold the flats for the time being because the flats makes the Geopede lethal next turn. Hey, fancy penguins. No worries. That's why everything ends up on the YouTubes. So, playing the land pre-combat was better against Snapcaster Mage, but it was worse against the Cryptic Command. So, like, again, like, you're always picking and choosing, like, what cards you're choosing to play around. And, like, my opponent, like, certainly has 4 Cryptic Commands in their or certainly has 4 Snapcaster Mage in their deck. Like, there's no guarantee they have 4 Cryptic Commands post-board against an aggressive deck, so... There, we got a few draw steps at a fetch land here. They have a 3rd bolt. We could be in trouble. Hadouken. Yeah, I think the blue-black thing in the ice deck looked really sweet. I think discard spells plus thing in the ice is a really great combination that I haven't tried before. Hey, the Twitch Prime subscriber thing. You need to be on the desktop to do the Twitch Prime subscriber thing, or you need to open the desktop version of Twitch in your mobile browser. And you go to twitch.tv/prime to get your accounts linked. And then once they're linked, you'll just click the normal subscribe button on the page. I think Last Hope would have been pretty sweet in that deck. I think this is a keep. We're on the draw, which gives us a lot of shots at other 1 and 2 drops. This is good against a lot of the creature-based decks in the format. These are good against a lot of the mid-range and controlling decks in the format. So we cover a pretty wide range of spreads that this hand is reasonable against. I really don't think that archetype is playable without Jace Taco Bolas. I think you could get away with, like, missing Snapcaster Mage. You could probably even get away with, like, missing some Colonnades to a degree on the back of Temples being great. But Jace is pretty important as far as being able to leverage the power of what's it called? Whatever that card is. Terminus. I think I want to lead on Cat here. I could potentially get in trouble, but, like, there's a good chance I can't activate my Grim Lavamancer on 2 anyways. All right. Sure. I guess I'm leaving this back on defense, huh? Yeah, my blue-white list is on 3 and 3. I don't know. I don't do budget decks. There are a lot of great Magic content producers that focus on building budget decks. I am not one of them. My goal here while playing Magic is to play interesting and sweet things, and not worry about how many dollar reduce they cost explicitly. All right. Didn't get quelled. That's good for us. Howdy, Abigail. Most tiered decks are over $1,000. Magic the Gathering. Hopefully, and I'm hoping, but there's a good chance this never happens. At some point, Wizards of the Coast realizes that the way you get people to play Standard is to make Standard good, not by trying to price people out of playing other formats. What is in their hand? Okay. It's like second Drog Skull, sure. I just want to like double Lord here. And I'm fine with that, I guess. Oh, I guess I have the Grim Lavamancer, which is why they want to do this. So like now they're just like they're trading for my cat or my tracker. So like sure. Hey Warlord, thanks for the bits. I appreciate it. It's an okay draw. I guess I can't attack with my cat, huh? Or this cat specifically. Let's attack with both of these before I play anything else, because this way if they want to block this, I crack a clue and then I kill them. Is there a difference between 9 and 10 here? Is there a difference between 9 and 10? Is there a difference between 9 and 10? This deck is fine for the competitive leagues. Again, the only difference between competitive and friendly leagues is if you feel like you need to gamble, then gamble and play the competitive leagues. I think yeah, the lords are going up in powers of 2, right? So like 9 and 10 is basically the same here. So if they go Lord, Lord, we die. But otherwise, if we rip a fetch land, we could put them deep in the ground. I get, what, 3 looks at a fetch land next turn? They found a whole lot of air this game. This will be another matchup where we really want to bring Lightning Helix in, and a card like Boros Charm would be much worse. It's a decent draw. Ding, ding, ding. Do-do-do-do-do-do. So we'll Grim Boy the bird here. Because otherwise it blocks a 4-power dork. And they can go block 5, take lethal. Geist the Saint Trap this game, kind of showing why it's pretty mediocre. You know, there's lots of creatures that block it in this format. Wouldn't be too surprised if they boarded that out. We're going to make sure we board in Qasali Pridemage post-board, because a lot of these Spirits decks have Worship, and Qasali Pridemage is like an okay card on its own, too. Yeah, but like if they attacked with both Lords, they'd have one less blocker, and then I'd still be attacking for lethal, right? They'd block exactly here, and then I'd have 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, so they'd still be dead. Is this a Kessig Wolf Run matchup? They probably don't have enough chump blockers for it to be a Kessig Wolf Run matchup, right? This is probably a tracker out matchup. Do I think I have time to grind? I really didn't have time to crack most of my clues there, right? I guess Knight's probably worse. Knight's like kind of big. Scavenging Ooze is actually really slow, right? How do you feel about this? I think I like this. Keeps our curve pretty similar. The 3 colorless have Moorland Haunt. Sometimes there isn't quite a stock Bant Spirit deck list going around just now. It's still a deck that that's kind of developing. This hand is really good with a couple of lands. Smoke if you got him, chat. Smoke if you got him. I think I wanna be proactive here. You can maybe make the argument that I should stop and kill this Noble Hierarchy here, though. Sure. Come at me, Noble. Deal. That's a good one, yeah. Bant Spirit was a better tribal deck than humans. I'm not one to argue, so I left the conversation. What's your opinion on one over the other? I think based on the results that we have, it's kind of absurd to imply that Bant Spirits is better than humans. Humans is kind of objectively the best deck in Modern right now. Nah, I think Torch is better. She's reach while she's drawing you cards potentially. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass back here. I don't really want to play into a Spell Queller. I don't really want to play into a Rattle Chains. If they just pass back to their own turn here, I'm gonna go ahead and during their upkeep probably Grim Lavamancer down the Selfless Spirit to kind of like get them to use their mana inefficiently potentially. So this way, if they have Rattle Chains, they're kind of off kilter, so to speak. So, while I got to negate my Grim Lavamancer activation here, I kind of got them to use their mana in kind of an inefficient way, which is nice for us. Again, my response to every card suggestion on this channel is always the same. What problem are you solving? What issue does my deck have that you're fixing that the suggested change improves? That's the correct way to approach deck building. Magic's a game where there are tens of thousands of cards that you can play, and lots of them have synergies with lots of other ones. So, sure, we could just put every card in our deck that has something to do with playing extra lands. Why not play Explore? Why not play every creature with Landfall? Like, you have to pick and choose in an intelligent manner that allows you to solve problems and make your deck a cohesive strategy. Do all the bits you get turned into the same amount of dollars that we pay for them? Example, 100 bits is worth... Yeah, so if you send me... 1 bit is 1 penny to a streamer. So, if you send a streamer 100 bits... they will get 1 American dollar. Yeah, I should fetch shock there. Yeah, I probably should fetch shock there. Because I'm probably going to want to fetch on the next turn cycle. I'm probably going to want to fetch Grim Lavamancer or something this turn anyways. Go buy ice cream. Thank you, Lucatog. Morning, Mauve. What game is this in the league? This is match 4, game 2. We're currently 2-1 in this league, and we're up a game in this match. The predominant board wipe that control decks are playing in Modern right now is Terminus, which makes Boros Charm exceptionally bad. If you know for a fact that, like, the local format you're going to be playing in has a plethora of Supreme Verdict based control decks, then that's probably fine. But yeah, I should have fetched shocked last turn and gotten my 2 extra points of damage in. So I've missed 2 points of damage through my sequencing here. Did someone cut the line this in? No, this was at the top of the queue after I edited everything up yesterday. So I want to kill the Selfless Spirit here, because this way when my opponent is forced to block next turn, they're not able to make their things indestructible and then kill us on the backswing. So, like, now I'm going to get to untap and, like, path the Drogskull Captain and then, like, Grim Lavamancer down one of these Mausoleum Wanderers, then attack for a good chunk of damage here. Wow, that attack is aggressive. I guess they're, like, just assuming they can, like, never beat a removal spell, so they're not going to play around it. Alright, so a land drop is lethal here. I'd already have lethal if I would have gotten my 2 extra damage last turn. Ding. I enjoy this being a no justice stream. Plays really bad on the opponent's turn, if at all. I mean, kinda. This deck plays arguably 2 of the 3 best pieces of 1-mana removal in the format. So, like, as far as, like, creature decks go, you could probably argue that this is one of the more interactive creature decks. The 1-1 for Cracking a Clue. Yeah, you're right, because we had 4, 3, and 1. Good catch. Welcome to everybody. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. I have a shorter stream today because Moto took an 8-hour nap this morning. So we're hanging out, playing some Modern this afternoon. We got one more match here in this league with the Landfall deck, and then we're going to play a league with the Black-White Cars deck that we played a few times on stream before. It's kind of a sweet one. We've been tuning that. What's the new sponsor on Friday? I can't tell you that now. I don't have discount codes and, like, shilling spiels set up. So yeah, Friday, we hit 2,000 subscriber points on stream yesterday, which is kind of absurd. Thank you everybody for the great support. So Friday, we're going to have a long stream to celebrate that. I'm going to do 10 or 12 hours or so. And I got a new sponsor that we're going to be rolling out, which is exciting. We're also going to be doing a bunch of giveaways. I've got stuff from Inked Gaming, and I've got some gift certificates for CoolStuffInc.com. And I think we're going to give away some of these extra playmats that I have sitting on my end table here. I'm going to sign some of those and mail those out to people. So you're going to want to make sure you're around on Friday. Corbin Dallas, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Welcome. Am I going to be sponsored by WotC? I mean, we technically had a stream where WotC paid me money for streaming their game. No, subs only giveaways actually violate gambling laws in a lot of places, because that technically counts as a purchase. So subs will get a little bit of extra weight towards being selected as a winner, but everyone who is part of the channel on Friday will be able to enter the giveaway. Is there a mix of fetches you can sub in for Mesa? Yeah, you could technically play other Marsh Flats and Bloodstained Mires, I suppose. Obviously, having Naya fetches is preferred, but you could play Bloodstained Mires too. Like, this deck has 14 fetches in it. Needs a lot of them. This hand's really good against a lot of the creature decks in the format. It needs a couple of lands, but like Bolt plus Grim Lavamancer. Glade Covered Scout. Alright. Well, we're gonna play some black-white cars. You know, it's just how it goes. So, Naya Landfall. The blue-white control matchup feels pretty bad with this deck since they've added Terminus and stuff like that. And I think potentially the best way to attack that matchup without making a lot of other matchups significantly worse is probably by trying to pivot into some kind of hate bears-esque strategy out of the sideboard. I think Godok Teague potentially has a good shot at being impactful. It's a card that's like good against Tron and Storm as well, but it also like locks them out of casting Terminuses and Supreme Verdicts and Cryptic Commands and Logic Knots. So I think I might, if I'm gonna add some Hate Bears, I can probably cut one or possibly even two Damping Spheres. But I think I'd probably start with two and see how that feels. I think I would probably try two Teague. I think if I'm adding Teague, these Chandras probably get pretty significantly worse. So I think I might go 2 Teague to 2 Thalia in the sideboard, and maybe even potentially like a third Thalia. Just like cards that like apply pressure, but also like disrupt our opponent a little bit in a meaningful way. I think so. At any rate, though, this archetype, this is one we've played on stream a bunch in the past before. We've had some 4-1s, we've had some 5-0s, we've had a bunch of 3-2s. If you want to see more matches with this deck, you think it's sweet, and you want to learn more about it, be sure to check out the page for it on my website, jeffhoagland.com/decklists. Everything gets posted there, and this league we just played today will get added to the playlist on that page after I get done streaming today.